You can't stop thinking about them, and you hate yourself for it. That obsession isn't weakness, it's hardwired. Your brain craves intensity, unpredictability, and emotional tension. Humans have always been drawn to figures who destabilize them, from chaotic monarchs to manipulative leaders. You're not broken, you're wired to fixate on what challenges your sense of control. Long before this person existed, your mind learned to chase instability. Childhood affection was never consistent, leaving your nervous system craving unpredictable approval. Now, when someone fluctuates between attention and withdrawal, your old wiring ignites. Your brain reacts as if survival depends on it, replaying patterns rooted in your earliest attachments. Casinos understand the human brain better than most. Sporadic rewards produce stronger dopamine spikes than predictable ones. When the wrong person gives attention inconsistently, your brain interprets it as significance. You chase validation that appears fleetingly, not realizing that the scarcity itself is what makes it addictive. Throughout history, humans gravitated toward powerful but unstable individuals, from emperors whose favor could vanish at any moment to charismatic leaders whose moods swayed nations. Unpredictability commanded attention. Your fixation on the wrong person is a modern echo of this ancient survival instinct. Pay attention to the unstable to avoid potential loss or to gain fleeting reward. They don't just occupy your thoughts, they warp your sense of self. Around them, you question your worth, replay past mistakes, and wonder what you did wrong. Your brain interprets this uncertainty as a puzzle to solve, triggering obsession. You chase resolution that never comes, trapped in a loop designed by emotional unpredictability and your own mind. Every interaction leaves chemical traces in your brain. Even minimal attention or fleeting conflict creates dopamine spikes and stress hormone surges. This biofeedback loop cements obsession. Your fixation isn't conscious choice. It's the result of neurochemical patterns forged over repeated cycles of emotional push and pull. Humans instinctively mirror emotional intensity. The more erratic or magnetic someone is, the more your mind internalizes their highs and lows. You feel their excitement, withdrawal, and drama as if it were your own. This mechanism, rooted in evolution, ensured survival in social hierarchies, but now keeps you obsessing over people who destabilize you. Your mind exaggerates their impact through selective memory. Positive moments are amplified, negative warnings minimized. History shows humans consistently elevate emotionally intense individuals above rational judgment. You aren't imagining significance. They feel crucial because your brain has been trained to overvalue unpredictability. You notice how others respond to them and compare yourself. Their influence seems validated because society, friends, or peers react to their charisma, heightening your fixation. Historical parallels exist. Courtiers idolized temperamental rulers, citizens followed dramatic leaders, and observers magnified emotional impact. You're replaying the same social mechanisms on a personal level. Your mind oscillates between attraction and frustration, hope and resignation. Each unresolved feeling fuels the next cycle of obsession. History is littered with examples: thinkers, soldiers, and citizens fixated on dangerous figures despite knowing the risk. You're part of the same pattern. Human psychology hasn't evolved past the pole of emotionally destabilizing individuals. When someone unpredictable enters your life, your mind treats their inconsistency like a puzzle begging to be solved. Emotional chaos acts like a spotlight. Your thoughts keep circling them not because they're meaningful, but because they're unfinished. Historically, humans overvalue the unpredictable. From ancient oracles to volatile rulers, uncertainty always seduced attention more than stability. Your brain is wired to hate unresolved tension. When the wrong person gives you ambiguity instead of clarity, your mind locks onto them as an open loop. Ancient storytellers exploited this mental glitch, ending epics mid-conflict to keep audiences obsessed. You're not attached to the person. You're attached to the unanswered questions they left behind. Your brain stores emotional pain more vividly than emotional comfort. The wrong person leaves sharper traces because their presence sparked contrast, highs followed by drops. Throughout history, traumatic bonds outlasted peaceful ones because strong emotions carve deeper neural grooves. You're not obsessed, they're simply encoded loudly. Humans evolved to treat intense experiences as warnings or opportunities. So, when someone stirs strong emotions, your brain elevates them to priority status, even if they're harmful. Medieval chronicles fixated on tyrants for the same reason. They provoked intense reactions, so people assumed they mattered. Intensity tricks you into assigning meaning. Wrong people often appear during vulnerable phases, transitions, confusion, or loneliness. Your brain ties their presence to your self-narrative, making them feel essential, even when they aren't. Throughout history, people attached their identity to figures who barely deserved it, especially during crises. You're not choosing them. Your story accidentally glued them in. You're drawn to familiar emotional dynamics from your past, even the harmful ones. People repeat relational patterns the way empires repeated political mistakes, comfort found in the recognizable. Wrong people feel magnetic because they echo an emotional script you've lived before. Familiarity masquerades as inevitability. When someone gives you limited time, affection, or clarity, scarcity flips your brain into pursuit mode. Rare things feel inherently valuable, even if they're worthless. Ancient markets exploited this psychology, turning common items into treasures by restricting access. The person isn't special, their inconsistency is. Your mind sanitizes bad memories over time, polishing moments that were never actually good. This distortion kept historical heroes mythologized, long after their flaws vanished from collective memory. You do the same with the wrong person. Your mind edits, softens, and romanticizes until only selective fragments remain. A strange instinct pushes you toward what wounded you before. Your brain thinks mastering pain equals safety. Civilizations revisited old threats for the same reason, seeking control over what once destabilized them. You return to the wrong people not because they're right, but because the brain wants to conquer familiar danger. When someone hits your emotional vulnerabilities, fear of abandonment, need for validation, you mistake the resulting pull for connection. Historical movements thrived by targeting people's psychological weak points, not offering genuine belonging. The wrong person activates hunger, not intimacy, but hunger feels urgent, so you mistake it for attachment. Sometimes the wrong person triggers resistance in you, defensiveness, confusion, or fear, but your brain mislabels that tension as attraction. Ancient warriors documented this same error in battle. The mind confuses threat with significance. When someone destabilizes your emotional equilibrium, your mind insists they must matter, even if they're simply harmful. The wrong person often gives you proximity to what you want. Almost understood, almost cared, almost committed. Almost is psychologically addictive because it implies closure is within reach. Medieval alchemists wasted lifetimes chasing substances that were almost gold. You're locked on the person not for who they are, but for how close they pretended to be. Your attachment deepens because you mentally construct a version of them that doesn't exist. This mental projection becomes more real to you than the person themselves. Societies did this with kings, saints, and revolutionaries, turning flawed humans into symbols. You're not obsessed with them, you're obsessed with the ideal you invented. Intermittent affection wires your brain like a slot machine. You keep returning because you're chasing the rare moments of validation. This pattern mirrors ancient gambling rituals where people sacrificed everything for unpredictable rewards. The wrong person turns your emotions into a rigged game, and your brain keeps playing. Letting go means confronting emptiness, and emptiness terrifies humans more than pain. History proves this. People clung to collapsing empires and doomed beliefs rather than face the void. The wrong person becomes a shield against confronting the parts of yourself you avoid. They're a distraction, not a connection. You loop memories of them because the brain revisits confusion until it feels resolved. Historians obsess over unsolved mysteries long after the facts matter, driven by the same cognitive itch. The wrong person becomes a mental puzzle, one your brain refuses to drop until it makes sense. Even if the truth is simple, they weren't good for you. Sometimes you're not thinking about the person, you're thinking about the emotional imprint they left behind. People in the past mistook echoes in caves for spirits because the sound lingered longer than the source. In the same way, your mind clings to emotional residue and mistakes it for longing. You're haunted by echoes, not people. They represent a version of you, your desperation, your hope, your vulnerability. Losing them means losing the identity tied to that chapter. Ancient civilizations preserved ruins because they represented who they used to be, not because the stones mattered. You're mourning your former self, not the wrong person. You constantly think about the wrong person because releasing them forces you to rewrite the story you've been telling yourself. Humans resist editing their personal history. Entire nations rewrite the past instead of confronting it. Letting go isn't about forgetting them. It's about accepting a new version of your story. Eventually, the mind reaches a breaking point where obsession becomes clarity. The wrong person stops feeling magnetic and starts feeling small, like seeing a massive structure shrink when viewed from above. This is your turning point. If you're ready to stop circling old patterns, start by stepping back and watching the illusion collapse from a higher vantage.